Hello and welcome to our trip to Japan. In 2025 we're planning a trip to Japan. This video is to describe the things that we're going to do on each of the days. Day 1, we're flying from Phoenix to Los Angeles. We're going to fly out of Phoenix International Airport from the Southwest terminal here. And it's a quick flight, probably about an hour across to LA, and we'll arrive here at Los Angeles International Airport, and we'll be at the Southwest gates here, and we'll take a shuttle after we get in the bags across to the Embassy Suites on the south side of the airport. Day 2. We'll take the shuttle back across to the airport, this time to the Bradley terminal, that's for the international departures and arrivals. I was curious to find out which gate we might be flying out of for the flight to Japan on American Airlines. So I went onto Flight Tracker, it's this site here, Flight Stats. Flight we're on is Flight 27, flying out of LAX to Heneda in Tokyo area. This one was on the 21st of April. 21st of April, and it was out of the Thomas Bradley International Terminal, gate 159. The flight was 11 hours 34 minutes, and say leaving out at gate 159. However, on the 22nd, I think it was left out of Terminal 4 at gate 41. Then on the 23rd, which is actually today, it left out of the Thomas Bradley International Terminal, gate 159 again. So I think it's a bit of a crapshoot as to which gate we go out of. Now the American Express Centurion Lounge is actually next to gate 148 in the Thomas Bradley terminal on level 2. So I like to plan things out, and I was, worried about the fact that we might be leaving out of Terminal 4, gate 41, instead of out of gate 159 in the Bradley terminal. But looking at the map here and reading some things online, this is where the American Express Centurion Lounge is, just here. I think we can check in through the Bradley terminal and go to the American Express Lounge. Then, if our flight is in Terminal 4 at gate 41, there's a route here that we can go where we can take a couple of escalators, and there's lifts there as well, and get to gate 41 in Terminal 4 without actually having to go back out of security and back in again. In fact, it has the steps right here where it shows, you leave the Centurion Lounge, go up an escalator, and there's no discussion here about going through security. And actually, if I click the accessible, it shows the fact that there are elevators here. So looks like that's okay. Now, if we're going out of gate 159, that is out of the Centurion Lounge that's up here. down the elevator, across through all these duty-free shops and other shops, and down here. These are moving walkways, ending up down here at 159. So this is what the Bradley terminal looks like from the air. Let's just kind of zoom in a little bit here. This here is where the Centurion Lounge is, just over here. And gate 159 is this one down here on the end. And the gate 41 that I was talking about is actually this gate right here. And it looks like the walkway is from the Centurion Lounge, gate 148 over here, Centurion Lounge here, across through this walkway here and into the terminal 4 here, straight into gate 41 for that flight. So it looks pretty doable. In fact, it's probably quicker getting from the American Express terminal here across and into gate 41. So I think we'll be okay. So this is the plane we're flying. It's a 787. These are the seats by the window. And this will show in a minute what's actually in those bags. The seats look reasonably roomy. That's the middle seats. So there's a little footrest that comes out so you can put your feet up. Place for the tray table to come out. Actually, that was storage in the middle. This is where the tray comes out. Now let's look inside the bag. There's a pillow, some little blanket, some headphones, little amenity kit. Then we'll fly from LAX to Heneda in Japan, near Tokyo. It's about an 11-hour flight, or 11.5 hours. From Los Angeles across to Tokyo. We go across the Pacific. It's about a 14-hour flight. We'll eventually land at Heneda Airport, which is just outside Tokyo, and here we land at Terminal 3. And outside of Terminal 3 you can get a bus, and the bus takes you from here across and into Yokohama, where we'll be staying. So when we arrive at Heneda, we'll go from the plane. This is a video that somebody else took, showing leaving the plane, going along the jetway, and then that's where we'll pick up wheelchairs if necessary, and then through the terminal building. It's quite a long walk to the passport control and the customs. Hopefully we'll have enough power in the wheelchair. This is after you get through customs and immigration, and then first thing to do is to go to this ATM to get money. This is one of the ATMs that accepts American debit cards. Then after that, go to the bus ticket counter and get the ticket for the bus, which is about 1,000 yen per person, to Yokohama, and then go downstairs and out to, well, this guy's going to stop number 8 for Yokohama Station, which is Shin Yokohama. And here he gets on the bus. And the ticket, apparently, you don't put in the machine on the bus until you get off. And then the bus takes you about 30 minutes into Yokohama. So, doing a bit of research, it looks like the bus that we need to get is this one here. Minato, my pronunciation is terrible, Mirai area. And this is a specific one. This is Heneda Airport to Yamashita Park. Okay. And this shows that for Terminal 3, it's T3 stop 8. So that's where we would get on the bus. So when we arrive at Heneda Airport, we'll be arriving into gate 148 over here. That's the usual gate that the American Airlines plane comes into. And then we'll have to walk through this area here to get to the immigration point and go through customs, and then make our way through the main terminal here and out to where bus stop 8 is. And bus stop 8 will get the bus to Yamashita Park, and Yamashita Park is right over here, and that is very close to where the I think the bus stop is actually kind of over here. You can see the little symbol of the bus there, and then the Hyatt is just up here. So it's not too far, a few city blocks, so it should be pretty good. The Hyatt's ideally situated for the cruise port and for a lot of the attractions that are around. You can just see the red brick warehouse over there in the distance and the cruise port. When we arrive, it'll be somewhere around 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We might be a little peckish, so we could go out and get something to eat. There's actually a place called the Harbour Kitchen inside of the hotel, so we might be able to go there. There's also the Milano Grill. We could go there as well. Or if we're feeling adventurous, we could actually take a walk down here. Let's get freshened up from the flight. And this white restaurant you see here is called the Wharf House, and it's a seafood restaurant. And well, actually the Wharf House is some seafood, and they have some meats as well, almost like barbecue and seafood together, with wagyu and fish and chips and chicken wings and bologna and hot dogs and desserts and cheesecakes, hamburgers. Seems like an American kind of thing. And then they also sell the local Yokohama beer, so that'll be fun. Then there's another restaurant called the Basie Restaurant, and that is this restaurant just here. It's like it's the one that looks almost like a pyramid down there, which is a bit, oh, there it is there. So I'm not really sure about the food at the triangular Basie restaurant. Looks like they've got some seafood and more seafood, a crab and pasta. Looks like the crab's enjoying the pasta. There's like table seating and counter seating. They have some meats, they've got steaks, and they've got some bento boxes. More seafood. Not really sure what that is. Some meat, more meats. Looks like a sashimi platter. Not sure what that is. I think that's one of the curries that they do. So anyway, there's all those sort of things that we can do at the Basie restaurant. On day 4, we're going to explore some more of the Yokohama area. This will probably include going to the Cup of Noodles Museum, which is not too far from the Hyatt. We can see the Cup of Noodles Museum down there, and we're just zooming in to see it. In this area there's a lot of entertainment things to do. There's something called Cosmo World, which is like an amusement park. And then, very close by, there's a place called World Porters. And it's like a shopping mall, and it also has a lot of restaurants and cool places to have lunch. So World Porters is quite close to Cosmo World. It's also right next to the Air Cabins, and that takes you across to where the station is. Once inside of World Porters, there's lots of shops, lots of anime, lots of toys. There's candies and all sorts of things going on in here. A lot of Pokemon stuff, models. There's actually a One Piece store there as well. Oh look, there's Woody. So yeah, so here's the One Piece shop. And so they sell all the One Piece trading cards here. Lots more One Piece stuff with tables for the play, other anime stuff. This is a Japanese character called Ultraman. Bath salts and smelly stuff here, and then clothing selections, a lot more anime type stuff, models and figures and space type toys. Oh, there's a Pac-Man store here as well. And these are grabber machines. You basically put your money in and get something out, and whatever you get is a surprise to you. So we've got One Piece crane games here. After we've been to World Porters, we could go to Chinatown. Here's a little view that shows you the kind of the distance from the Hyatt to the Cup of Noodles Museum. Now Chinatown is just behind the Hyatt, kind of to the right of this picture. Here's an overview of Chinatown. It's quite a large area. It's the biggest Chinatown in the world. And this is one of the main streets. Michelle wants to go and do crispy Peking duck, and there's a crispy Peking duck restaurant right here. And then this is another street that goes through Chinatown with a lot of restaurants on it. There are also some cultural things here, like there's a Chinatown temple. And then we would probably head back to the Hyatt to freshen up. And I've included a page here which is of restaurants and various things to do in Yokohama. Okay, so day 5, once again starting at the Hyatt Regency, and we may go over to the red brick warehouse. This is a complex of red brick warehouses that were used for importing goods into Yokohama. We've got shops and restaurants and different activities there that can be done. And then close by, near that World Porter's place, is the Air Cabins. These are cable cars that take you over to the near where the station is. And here's where they drop you off. You can get a round trip ticket, or we could get off here and go to the station. And the station is where the bullet trains pass through, so that would be a cool thing to see. And then very close by to here is the tallest building in Yokohama. It has an observation deck that is at the very top. There's a restaurant there as well. Apparently it's got some of the best views in the Tokyo area, and you can see out on a clear day across to Mount Fuji and all around the Tokyo area. That's the observation deck up there. And then close by there's actually another amusement park. Seems to be an area of amusement parks here. There's some lifeboat type things there, and it's a nice long casual sort of roller coaster. Might be something that Michelle would enjoy. And then just over here is another amusement park. Looks like it's got some rides and then some shops just to the right of it. There's also a sailing ship, and this is a cutter ship that was used for importing goods and exporting goods, of course. And then there's an omakase called Sushi Hiro's Omakase, and I've got a link here. You'll see the page comes up. It's got lots of the typical sushi type dishes, wagyus, tunas, caviar, and It's all in Japanese, but I'm sure it could be translated. And if we wanted to, we could book a meal there. There's some uni and some fatty tuna. That's nice. And then we'd head on back to the Hyatt Regency to get some rest. So day 6 is a cruise day, and we'd start off here at the Hyatt Regency, and we'd then go across to the cruise port here. It's probably, I don't know, looks like about half a mile from here to there. We could get a cab across, or we could try walking and see how long it takes to get over there. The journey from the Hyatt, you can see from the view here. Here's the Hyatt, and you go down this street and across here, and then down through into where the cruise port is. This goes down to where the cruise terminal is. So we do the formalities of getting checked in and getting on board the ship, and then from there we then sail out and spend our first evening on the ship at sea. Day 7 is a day at sea, and we'll be sailing towards Aomori and basically heading up there around the peninsula here and between the two islands, Hokkaido and the main island. But we'll probably only get to around here that evening on day 7. So day 8, we're in Aomori. It's in the northern part of Japan, the northern part of the main island, and we're going to be coming in from at sea over here, coming into the port and into here. I've done a bit of research here, and there's 2 different cruise ports. There's or docks. There's this one here, which is very close to all of the attractions and stuff. And then there's this port here, which I've checked out a couple of videos that people posted for the Diamond Princess cruise, and saw that this is actually the port where the Princess docks. And if we go out and look, I did a measurement, and the distance in a straight line from the port to where the museum that does the floats is, and the A factory that does the cider, is pretty much 1 mile. So taking into account getting off the ship, walking over this big long bridge, and getting down to where the museum is about 1.5 miles. I saw in the video there's some buses, coaches, so it'd be worthwhile on this one actually getting one of those coaches to take us to the downtown area. So next thing is that in this area here is where the fish markets are. So if we go zoom in here down to the fish market, we'll see there's a fish market here. But the one that seems popular with people in different videos that I've seen on YouTube is actually this one just over here, where they do a book of tickets. You get 10 tickets, they give you a bowl of rice, then you walk around and pick the sushi that you want and put it on top of your rice. So let's look at that from another angle here. And then we'll turn around and we can then walk from here along the street and out to where the bridge is, and then just over here on the left is the museum that has all of the floats in it, and then here's the Aomori, they call it the A Factory, and they actually have cider tasting in there. You can buy apples and do stuff. I think that'll probably be enough for us for a day. There's some shops around and stuff like that, so we can do a bit of shopping, and then we'll get back to the back across to the ship somehow, which is, as I said, over here, and then take the ship and we'll go for a night at sea, where we'll be going around out of Aomori and out to sea over here, and then round to our next port. So day 9 of the trip is going to Sakata. Sakata is where the Abroad in Japan guy comes from. Oh, sorry, lived when he first went to Japan, and his name's Chris Broad, and he taught in a school there. Anyway, so when we come into Sakata, we'll be coming in down from at sea after coming over from Aomori, and we'll be coming into dock somewhere around here, and there's one dock there for the cruise ship, so not too much of a guess as to where we'll be docking. So that's right here. It's kind of in a little bit of an industrial area. Hopefully there's some buses and taxis that we can take. And then if we go just over here, this is where kind of the main shopping area is, and there's some fish markets and other shopping around this area. And then there's a Sakata is also quite famous for its sake, and there's a sake tasting place that's just over here. And then there's a sake brewery that is over here. And near here there's also an ornaments place where they make ornaments for Christmas decorations and stuff. And then just over here there's a place called the Union Jack Collector. This is an izakaya that Chris Broad used to go to a lot when he was in his early 20s as a teacher, and was going out with what's his name, Natsuki, and then right here, it's a bit away, but there's actually, this is the hair salon where Natsuki owns. So really it's all up in the air a bit as to what we can do in Sakata, and how we can get around. As you can see by the yellow dots, they kind of spread apart a bit. Looks like this area here has got a few things going on, and hopefully there's some buses that go from the port over here down into the shopping areas over here, and then we'll end up going out to sea that night on our way to our next port. The next port is Kanazawa. So that's it for Sakata. Okay, so day 10 is at gonna mess up this pronunciation here. Kanazwa. And after we've left Sakata and have gone out to sea, we'll then be out here, coming round in towards that Kanazawa, and here's where the port is. There's a guide here that shows getting around the city. And it says that it's best explored, it's a compact city, best explored on foot, but there's several convenient ways to go from places without a lot of walking. Although there's no trains and subways through the country, there's like bus services that you can get on, and there's something called the Kanazawa Loop Bus, and it goes from the station and actually has a stop. Is at the cruise port. So there's like a little route that it shows here. So that'll be, it's one way for us to get around. Anyway, let's go back to the port here. And then there's a couple of restaurants that Michelle has found, and a couple of restaurants that I found. There's this Asian restaurant that's down here, and that's kind of like a sushi restaurant. Then one that I found is, it's on the bus route. It's called the Kirari Conveyor Gold Leaf Sushi. Apparently it's a conveyor belt sushi restaurant, and they have sushi there that's covered in gold leaf. One of the things that this area is famous for is covering things in gold leaf, and one of the things we should try out is the gold leaf covered ice cream. Then here's a seafood market. Down here, once again it's near the bus route. And then there's an Indian restaurant that Michelle found, which is over here. Looks like it's a ways away, but it's actually down this road here that's just here's the port, and then this down here is where the restaurant is. You'll see it just there, actually, not that far. Like, let's see. I think it's within walking distance of the port. Port's over here. This is just down here. Then there's this Kanazawa Miyamon sushi restaurant that Michelle also found. That's over here. This may be a little further away. If we zoom out here, we'll see kind of where that is in relation to the port. That's measure the distance here from there to there. That's 1.4 miles as the crow flies, but perhaps there's a bus that could take us there. And after we visited a few of those places, there's we go out to sea again, and then the next port is going to be Sakaminato. So after we've left Kanazawa and we go out to sea, we spend the night at sea here, and then we're now headed to Sakaminato, and that's following this route here down into the port, and then this is where the cruise port is. And there's a few things to do here. There's a little map that is available from the tourist organisation, and it shows all the different things that are around that you can do. Got some of them on the little tour I'm going to do here. So one place that Michelle found is the Kaishin sushi restaurant. That's right here. And if we exit to the street view, we can then kind of zoom out from here, and it doesn't look like it's too far from the port. It's over there, the port's over here, so it's kind of out down this road and along there. Then there's this Izumi restaurant, which is right here. It's another sushi type restaurant. If we exit to the street view here, we can see that is there, and the port is over here. So this is a little further away. And next to it is another restaurant that Michelle found that's called the, it's a seafood market actually. And, well, yeah, so another restaurant that she found is the Sorojima Sushi Rice Restaurant. Looks like they do uni here, as they do in quite a few of the other restaurants, but got some very nice presentations on what they have. So that's in here. And then there's the Sakaminato Seafood Market, which is back over here towards the port. That's another place that Michelle found. And then there's the Tairo Seafood Market. That's right in here. This might be a good place to go. There's like a little presentation. It's not coming up, so we'll skip that for the moment. But that's very close to the Minato Tower, which is a tower. It's got some shops in here, and basically it's an observation tower where you can see out. There's shops and some cultural presentations, some hot springs there and stuff like that. So that's Sakaminato, and then we'll be heading back out to sea. And the next day, if all's well, we should be going to South Korea.